Hi everybody, I was just about to post this video to YouTube, and it's a video on drilling holes for cabinet doors, and it's something I had done some time back and didn't get back to it. Well, I reviewed it before I went to post it, and I realized there's a couple little bit more information, a couple more bits of information that I should include. This is the jig that I was using in the video, and you can see it's just two pieces of melamine stuck together, nothing fancy about it. In fact, this was an old door that already had some holes drilled into it, and I can use this part as my setup to tell me the distance from the edge of the door to where the hole is drilled. So what I do is set my rip fence to that distance, and it's about 1/8 of an inch. It would be pretty close. Now, one thing you really want to know, and this is really the reason I'm redoing this or adding this to the video, when you're doing cabinet doors, they refer to an overlay door, which is the most common kind you see now, and that's what's used with those Euro hinges. In an overlay door, you have to know how much overlay there is. In other words, how much bigger is the door than the opening, the hole size, and you buy your Euro hinges accordingly. I use mostly 1/2 inch because it's just a common size and it's easier to work with, but they come in all different kinds of sizes. And what that means is that the door will overlap the opening by 1/2 inch, left and right, top and bottom. Well, it's the left and right one that gets to be real critical. So you want to make sure you're using 1/2 inch overlay hinges. And generally, if you're getting them from a local Home Depot or Lowe's or Big Box or whatever, that's what you're going to see. But you want to look at them. It'll always be printed on the hinge what the overlay is. What else did I need to tell you about? How much overlay there is, the distance from the... Oh, here's the other thing, yeah. When I'm drilling my hinges, the holes for my hinges, I want them to be 3 inches from the top of the door. Let's do it over here. From the top of the door to the top of the hole. It's not set in stone, but that's commonly what you'll do and see, and it just makes it a little bit easier if you set up and do them all the same way. It doesn't really matter the size of the door. So 3 inches from the top, 3 inches from the bottom. This one, of course, is cut short, but an 1/8 of an inch here. This camera is a mirror image, so I'm fighting it a little bit. But that should get you what you want. Now this jig that I showed you, this just clamps onto your Shopsmith table, but this little marking right here is something you need to see. 3 inches. So when I'm making my holes, all I do is slide the door to the first line, drill my hole, continue to slide it till the bottom of the door reaches the second line, and I'm good to go. So in other words, that's 3 inches. I guess I do it 3 inches from center line now that I look at it. Yeah, that must be what it is. Anyway, you can do it however you like, but 3 inches will work fine for you. And that's what I wanted to add. I'll tell you about. One other thing, folks, I get a lot of questions about, can you make money in woodworking? And I'm thinking I should make a video on that, but I've been procrastinating and caught up with other things. So at the end of this video, you're going to find several books. I just photographed some books that I have, and they're just things about making and selling your own work. And a lot of the problems people have is how to price the stuff out, and there's some good information out there. The last thing you want to do is make it and lose money on it. What you really want to do is have fun doing it and make a profit, and that is certainly doable. So that's it for now. I'm going to add this to the other body of the video. And folks, as usual, if you need to contact me, I'm at Shopsmith-Doug, just like it sounds, at gmail.com, shopsmithdoug@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Oh, one more thing. I better tell you this too. It just occurred to me as I looked at myself on screen here. Guys, this is one of those dangers that you almost never hear about. But I wear sweatshirts a lot, but most of my sweatshirts have these strings pulled out. You don't ever want to work around a tool with these things. That's a bad deal. All right, thanks, guys. This is take 9A using the Power Pro for drilling large holes. Folks, if you're thinking about building your own kitchen cabinets, you have a choice, of course, how much of it you want to build. If you want to do all of it, more power to you. But there are times when it makes sense to have someone else make the doors for you, a door manufacturer. I do a lot of cabinet refacing in my business, and it's not unusual at all that I'll make 1 or 2 cabinets or kitchens a week, and I don't have the time or the inclination to set up and do that kind of production work. So very often I will buy the doors ready-made by somebody else. Well, whether I make the doors myself or I have someone do it for me, one of the things I run into is how to drill out for the holes for the large hinges. That's a 35mm hinge bore, and you've all seen these. These are great things, I think. They fit into place like so. What these allow us to do with these type of hinges is have more control of the adjustment as the doors move, the house sags, whatever, the cabinets might move on you. The old style hinges, once they started moving, there wasn't a whole lot you could do. With these, you have a 3-way adjustment, so if something gets out, it's really very simple to realign it. But drilling these holes is what I wanted to show you here today. I have a simple jig set up, and it's really no more than just 2 pieces of an old door that I screwed together at a right angle here just to use as kind of a false front or a false table and fence. If I were setting up to drill a lot of these, what I would do is use an existing door or make my first one. But since I already have an existing door, I bring the bit down, and to adjust it back and forth this way, I'll just use my table feed mechanism, my table height adjuster here, and that's really about it. Now to set for the depth, typically these are about a 1/2 inch. I'll just bring that down to where it bottoms out, set my 0 stop over here, and that's it. And I should be good to go. Now, the real critical part of this, I think, is the speed, having the speed right. With the old Shopsmith headstock, your low-end speed was 750, and sometimes that would tend to want to burn, especially in these harder woods. So, with the new PowerPro headstock, what I want to do is find out the right speed, and I don't have to look it up in a book or really guess at it. What I do is use the speed chart here, and the chart, I hit on the chart and it says confirm, do you want to use that? I go through it until I get to where it says drilling and boring. I confirm that, and then it'll ask me my diameter. In this case, this is a little bit more than 1 inch, but less than 2, so it's between 1 and 2 inches. I confirm that, and it's going to ask me if it's hardwood, and I confirm that. And what it tells me is the right speed is 450. So use a little jig like this. Let your Shopsmith PowerPro set the right speed and the right power for you here. Get your depth stop going. Why would you want to do this? Well, if you're only drilling 1 or 2 holes, maybe that's a lot of setup. But let's say a typical kitchen has 30 doors and you're going to be running 60 holes. Well, if you have the door manufacturer drill these for you, they'll charge you between $2.50 and $3 per hole to do that. So it kind of makes financial sense. Plus, it's kind of fun to do once you've got it set up. So that's about it. We're good to go. Now what I'm going to do is drill it into a piece of hard maple just to give you an idea, and it's going to be one of the tougher woods to handle. So we have our speed set, we have all of our stops set here, and that's it. But you'll notice it's very clean. There's no burning in this hole at all, and it's going to be a perfect fit. Just like that. That's one of the great things about the new PowerPro headstock. You can drill those larger holes without fear of the burning, and it's just got the right speed and the right torque to handle it. So one more reason